Okay, in this video, we'll learn about two exciting Excel financial functions. The PV, or present value function, which serves the role or replaces annuity tables in a finance book. So if you remember annuity tables, if you took finance, it might say 3 years at 5%, I'm putting in $1 a year or getting $1 a year. What's the present value in today's dollars? That wastes a lot of trees, and we want to always be as green as we said it can be, as Kermit would say. Okay, and so basically, the PV function replaces annuity tables. Also, annuity tables don't allow you to have really a fractional rate, okay, that you discount at. You'd have to interpolate. So PV function makes that unnecessary. It could be copied like a normal Excel formula. Then the next function we'll look at would be the FV function, not FX. That's a TV station. And the file is PVFV, and we're in the PV worksheet. The future value function is basically used when you're saving for retirement or accumulating money. If I put in $5,000 a year every year for 30 years, what will I have at the end if I earn 8% on my money? Okay, so let's start with the PV function that replaces the annuity tables. So the 5 arguments to the PV function. The rate, and if you're looking at annual, you need an annual rate. Monthly, you need a monthly rate. PV is what you're paying each period or what you're getting each period. FV is an optional argument. Basically, if you have to pay some extra money at the end of a loan, there would be an FV. Usually it's 0. And then the type is very important. 0 means the end of the period is when the annuities are paid. 1 means the beginning of the period. So 0 makes it like the NTP function. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. Okay, we're paying $3,000 a year for 5 years. At the end of each year, what's the present value in today's dollars of those payments? Okay, so that means like the $3,000 at the end of year from now would be divided by 1.12. We'll assume a 12% discount rate. 3,000 2 years from now divided by 1.12 squared, etc. And the only trick with these functions is the sign convention. And if you remember Al Franken from Saturday Night Live, now the senator from Minnesota, he used to say, "What's in it for me?" And the way you think about sign conventions with Excel financial functions is look at it from your standpoint. If you're paying in money, it's a minus. If you're getting money, it's a plus. And it's very important to not screw up the sign convention. So if I pay $3,000 a year for 5 years, what's the present value of those payments? Discounting at 12%. So it's 5 years. The payment I'm paying, it's minus $3,000. FV is 0 because there's no payment at the end. And I'm doing end of the period, so I should put a 0 there. Okay. And see, Excel will flip the sign and mean if I'm paying in $3,000 every year, it gives the opposite sign of that. Because in other words, that's equivalent to if I'm paying $3,000 in every year for 5 years, at the beginning somebody would be sort of giving me $10,800. Okay. Now suppose I pay $3,000 for each of 5 years at the beginning of the year. So that's going to be PV again, 12% is the discount rate, 5 years, paying in $3,000, no future value, but beginning of the period you put a 1 there and get $12,000. Now, an easier way to get that would just say, move everything forward 1 period, it's worth 12% more. And that would be fine. Now the tricky one. We're going to pay $3,000 at the end of each year for 5 years, and we owe an extra $500 at the end of the 5th year. Now that FV must be a minus $500 because I'm paying it out. So I'd say present value, rates 12%, 5 years, paying $3,000 a year. Now what's the sign of the FV? It's minus $500. It's got to be the same sign as the minus 3,000, or else it's going to give a wrong answer. Because I mean, the money's what I'm paying out each year is negative, because I mean it's leaving me, and what I'm paying out at the end of year 5 is also negative. So then I do end of the year for those payments, and that would be $11,098. Okay, let's talk about the future value function. Then we'll go on to talk about mortgage payment functions in our next video. There are a bunch of those, but they're very important. Okay, so FV function means you're putting in money beginning or end of each period, and you want to know what it accumulates to given a rate of return. So the rate here is not a discount rate, it's the rate at which rate of return on your investments. So you say the number of periods, what's the payment you're putting in each year. PV would mean you have some money now, and then the type is 0 or 1, ended period or beginning period. It's optional if you leave it out, as in the PV function. It'll assume it's ended period. So let's look at 3 examples here. You invest 2,000 at the end of each year for 40 years. What will you have in 40 years if you earn 8% on your money? So it's future value. Okay, it's 8% a year. It's 40 years, and you're paying the money in. So that way you'll get a positive FV. There's no money in the bank now, and it's the end of the period. So that should be 518,000. Now, what if you pay it in at the beginning of the year? What will you have in 40 years? Well, 8% more. I mean, let's do it with the FV function, but we can also do it that way. You're getting 8% on your money. It's 40 years. You're paying in 2,000. There's no money in the bank now. And basically, you put a 1 there for beginning of the year. And all that is 8% more because you'd get 1 more year of interest on everything you put in if you put it in a year earlier. Okay, now the tricky part. Okay, we start with 30,000 in the bank and we invest 2,000 a year. What will we have at the end of the 40 years, assuming we earn 8% interest? Okay, so let's take a look at this. You'll be surprised how much. So I do future value. It's 8% a year I'm getting. It's 40 years. We're putting in 2,000 a year. Now, the present value is minus 30,000 because I had to put that in the bank. You've got to make, these have to both have the same sign, the 2,000 and 30,000. They could both be plus if you want. It doesn't really matter. But then you put 0 for end of the period. Okay, and what you'll have in 40 years is amazing, $1,169,000. And trivia question for you, who said the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest? Most people think it was Warren Buffett, but it was the great physicist Albert Einstein. So that completes our discussion of the present value and future value functions. In the next video, we'll learn a little bit about the functions in Excel that can help you analyze personal loans or mortgage loans.
Okay, so thanks for watching, and there's a free course, a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, and all of these videos are coming from one of 3 books. So first, this one, which you can see here at the top of the screen, Microsoft's book, which has 355 reviews, and then it's, let's see, 4.6 stars. It's coming from this book as well, his marketing analytics book, which is down here, and you can sort of see 4.5, or his newest book, his analytics stories book, which is here. And with that one, you can see it's 4 point something, or maybe even 5. I don't think it's 5. Yeah, 4.8. And so, yeah, anyways, in the description, there's a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, or you can go to excelwithwayne.com/free, and it'll be there. But again, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, just please let us know. Thanks.